Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is August the 30th. There are 4 games in the W on this beautiful Saturday, so we're going to jump right into them. Don't have a recap from yesterday. Atlanta Dream did get the job done. We talked about that. I didn't know if Paige Beckers was going to play, and then Ron Howard did go over her assist prop. That was also my favorite player prop. She got the 5. And the Fever got the job done. I couldn't lay points with the Sparks, but I did talk about liking the Sparks yesterday, thinking that they could get the job done. Just can't get stops, man. You can't ever really lay points with a team that can't play defense. And the game did stay under the total yesterday as well, but they just still couldn't get the stop that they needed at the end of the game. So that's the quick recap. As far as, let's see real quick. I know Maddie Segrist was a cash yesterday, up and over her 22.5 points plus rebounds. The other player prop was De'Arica Hamby over her 9.5 rebounds and assists. And I want to say she got there, but I do need to double check real quick. Let's just look at that real quick. So De'Arica Hamby, let's see. She stayed under. She finished with 9 yesterday. So right on the number, she goes under. Needed another rebound or another assist. So as far as Jackson goes, 1 in 1 night. Maddie Segrist over points plus rebounds, and De'Arica Hamby over was a loser. So 1 winner, 1 loser. As far as the looks for today, Jackson likes Tina Charles under 21.5 points plus rebounds, which I kind of looked into this as well. And then Jackson also likes, we'll talk about Kayla McBride in the same game. So analysis here, which this shouldn't be up because this is from 2 nights ago, but analysis here on Jackson, which is an sports betting tool that you guys can utilize, AI sports betting tool that you guys can utilize. Link is in the description if you're interested, especially if you're new. It says Tina Charles faces a formidable challenge tonight against the Minnesota Lynx, who are renewed for their league best defense. While Charles has shown some strong recent performances, averaging 24.2 points plus rebounds over her last 5 games and 22.8 over her last 10. Her historical performance against the Lynx tells a different story. The 2 matchups this season, she's averaged just 7 points plus rebounds, failing to hit the line over in both games. The Lynx have consistently demonstrated their ability to shut down the Suns' primary offensive threat, holding Charles to just 4 points in one of the contests. Furthermore, the Lynx defense ranks number 1 in the league against Charles' position in points plus rebounds, indicating a very tough matchup. All signs point to the Lynx continuing their defensive dominance over Charles tonight. So that's the first look. And then in that same game, Jackson likes Kayla McBuckets over 13.5 points. It says that she's been a consistent scoring threat for the Minnesota, and they look to continue to trend tonight. She's averaged 16.5 points over her last 5 games, 16.7 over her last 10, hitting the over in 60% of her last 5 and 70% of her last 10. When facing the Connecticut Sun this season, she's put up 20 points. She's put up 20 points in the single match in their single matchup, easily clearing the line. The Suns' defense against her position ranks 9th, which is the average matchup, and shouldn't significantly hinder her scoring. While the Lynx boast the best offensive rating in the league, McBride is well positioned to exceed her points total tonight. So those are the 2 looks from Jackson: Kayla McBride over 13.5 points and Tina Charles under 21.5. Again, link is in the description as always. Let's jump into the 2 games that we got on the board for today. The first one is the Minnesota Lynx and the Connecticut Sun. So this line, I think what I saw was, let me just check my notes real quick. Let's go to it. So I initially saw 13.5. The number's gotten a little bit bigger. It's up to 14 now, and the total has come down. Open 165.5. It's come down to 163.5. At least that's what I saw. So we look at the injury report. I think Minnesota will be pretty healthy. I don't think they're missing anybody in this game. Outside of Griffin, who hasn't been playing anyway, and then Bria Hartley on the Connecticut side is listed as doubtful, and Olivia Nelson-Ododa is also listed as questionable in this game with a back injury, I think it is. So I think that's pretty significant. Could be one player that'll be down even more, which means Anisha Morrow, whose rebounds is listed at 8.5. I am interested in Anisha Morrow. Will probably get the start at the power forward position. So we look at these 2 teams, man. This is a really, really difficult game to handicap. I really want to take the points with Connecticut. They've been playing really, really well. Minnesota did win both matchups this season, but I remember Connecticut going into Minnesota early in the season. I laid the points with Minnesota. I think they were like an 8.5 point favorite, and they ended up winning the game. They didn't cover that spread. They ended up barely winning that game, but they did cover the most recent one. They were laying 20.5. Now that was like the end of a 5 or 6 game Western Conference road trip for Connecticut, and this is not the same Connecticut Sun team. The only reason I don't want to fade Minnesota is that because they are coming off that loss against Seattle. Cheryl Reeves absolutely chewed them out. If you guys had a chance to listen to her post-game interview, they don't really have a look-ahead spot either because their next game against the Wings on Sunday. I think it's on Sunday, and Connecticut don't really got anything to play for either. Minnesota pretty much got they got everything kind of locked up. So I don't want to really lay 15 points with them on the road against a feisty Connecticut team all of a sudden. Connecticut's actually covered 8 of their last 10 games and 11-7 against the spread at home. This is where they do cover. It is their first game back home after a 3-game road trip. They played 4 of their last 5 on the road as well, and 7 of their last 10 they played on the road. They do have a 1-day rest advantage. And I said that they've covered, 8 of 10. They've covered 7 in a row. So this Connecticut team is very feisty. I looked at the Lynx as double-digit favorites this season, coming off a loss. They are 3-0, straight up 3-0 against the spread. All 3 games have gone up and over the total as well. They got to 91, and their team total has actually gone up and over as well. They got to 91 against Chicago, 92 against Washington, and 101 against Seattle, against the Los Angeles Sparks. So initially I was like, man, they should be able to score. They can score against anybody, especially if they, turning teams over as well. And I think we could potentially see Connecticut turn the ball over. I think the Lynx come to play defense, but the Connecticut team total is like 74.5. So the more and more I thought over, because Minnesota typically bounce back off of over and, score the ball at will. Then I think about Connecticut's defense. They're 3rd in defensive rating the last 5 games. They are playing at the 5th fastest pace. So that could be some more opportunities for Minnesota, especially if Minnesota can turn them over, get out and run in transition. I just couldn't get to anything in this game. Maybe I'll bet it live. Hopefully I'm able to watch it. So we'll skip to the next one. I really wanted to go under after, looking at that. But if we take a real quick trip over, I'll tell you guys what I'm looking at from a player prop perspective from Outlier. Link is in the description if you guys want to check out Outlier, especially for, college football. They just started as well. Courtney Williams, her assist prop 5.5. You can see that she's over in back-to-back games against Indiana and Seattle. It feels like we're getting a little discount right here. 5.5. I do think that if the Minnesota offense is going to look good, it's going to be because Courtney Williams looks good, and that's what we typically have seen. You can see she's over in 3 of the 4 games that she's played this season from a head-to-head perspective. She's played against them twice. She had a 7-assist game here and a 3-assist game here. These have been the 2 games that she's played this season. I just kind of feel like Courtney Williams is in a really good spot in this game. I think she can get the 8 assists, honestly, especially if Connecticut struggles to, to guard that pick and roll. So that's my thought process on this game, man. I don't really feel too confident or comfortable laying such a big number with Minnesota. I really kind of want to get there with Connecticut, but I don't think I will, especially if they're going to be shorthanded. And I don't really want to fade the Lynx off a loss either. So that's my thought process on that game. Next one up, Mystics and the Valkyries. So we look at the injury report in this game. Let me just double check the Washington side. So Washington will be without J.C. Sheldon again. Xander Sealy is out at least one more game. Monique Billings went through practice 2 days ago, but she's been ruled out. Tiffany Hayes and Carla Lady are both practiced yesterday. They're both listed as questionable for this game. So this is a game where I kind of think, so if we look at the head-to-head matchup, right, Golden State has won all of the games. They've covered all 3 matchups as well, but they weren't really laying this big of a number. They won as a 2-point road dog in the most recent one, and then a 4-point and a 5-point home favorite in the other 2. So I kind of think that if Golden State has everybody rolled in, this line's going to go up. And I want to be on the Valkyries in this spot. I just look at Washington. I kind of think that they're free falling. They, first of all, they had a significant rest disadvantage. This is 5 days of rest for Golden State compared to just 1 for Washington. Washington, they've lost 5 straight, only covered 1 of their last 5. They're also playing on the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game against the Sparks tomorrow. So that doesn't bode well for them. Outside of the significant rest advantage for Golden State, they also play tomorrow, but they don't have to travel. They got Indiana coming into town and they start, I think, a 5-game homestand over the next 8 days, and they desperately need it because when you look at the playoff perspective, I mean, it's everything right now, right? So I had this pulled up. Let me just go back to it. I know that Golden State, I think, is in the 8th and final playoff spot. We want to make sure I'm giving you guys the right information. I want to say that they are, though. Let's see. Yeah, Golden State is 8th right now, and they need all the wins that they can get this, to stay in the playoff spot. It does help that the Sparks keep losing though, so and it helps that Washington keep losing as well. I don't think Washington gonna get there. Washington is currently 4 games behind Golden State. I don't even know if they can catch the Sparks, honestly, but I just think Golden State needs to game more. I like the rest advantage spot. Washington in their last 5 games, absolutely dead last in offensive rating, 11th in net rating, 12th in scoring. Like they just haven't been able to put it together. Now you come into Golden State, traveling from East Coast to West Coast. To me, it makes a lot of sense. The Valkyries also, there's a couple trends to back it up. They're 6-1 straight up, 7-0 against the spread. They're plus 8.7 in point differential when they're playing at home with the rest advantage. And they do, of course, have the rest advantage. They've also held 6 of their 7 opponents under their team total when they're playing at home with the rest advantage. And they've held their opponents to about an average of 69 points. We just saw Washington really struggle to score in New York as well. I think Washington continues to struggle in this game, but I want Golden State to have a little bit more out there than Timmy Bagley and Veronica Burton and Salam and Rapport. I need at least Tiffany Hayes, Carla. I need both of them, honestly, but that's the way I kind of see this game. I do think that I think Golden State gets the game. I think they get the job done. Kiki Area-Finn, Sonia Citron slowing down just a little bit, and even if they go off, nobody else is doing anything. So Alicia Clark and Shakira, I think Shakira Austin's gonna struggle in this game because Golden State doesn't give up a lot of points to bigs. They really do a good job of protecting the paint. So that's my thought process on this one. I'm laying if I'm playing. Laying the 4.5, laying the 5 in this game. All right, next one up is Sky and the Storm. So this is one where we got to look at the injury report as well. I know that Malunga is listed as questionable with a wrist injury. And then on the Chicago side, Haley Van Lith is ruled out. So it's just those two specifically. I don't know, man. This could be, we'll see how it goes, but the Storm was laying 12 points in this game. There's no way I could get there. They have won both matchups so far against Chicago this season. Once at home, and then most recently they went into Chicago and won that game as well. I think they beat them 89. They beat them 94 to like 89, but they didn't cover that game either. They were laying 11 in that game. And Chicago, a team that plays better on the road than at home. I've been talking about this all season. They're 10-8 against the spread on the road. They're 4-1 against the spread since Angel Reese came back. And they're -4 in point differential since Angel Reese returned to the lineup. The only game that they didn't cover was actually a game where they were a favorite, came against Connecticut. So I think the Sky are on the right side in this game. I know Seattle is coming off a really big win, could be a confidence booster win against the Minnesota Lynx as well. They need every game that they can get as well, because if they lose and Golden State wins, Golden State will jump them. Golden State will move to 7th and they'll move to 8th. So I know that Seattle has a lot to play for, but it's a terrible spot, man. It's a terrible spot. They just won as a dog, and they also are at home where they struggle. Chicago plays better on the road. Seattle plays better on the road as well. Seattle is 5-13 against the spread at home this season. They're also 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. And I mentioned the spot. This will be their first game at home off a 5-game Eastern Conference road trip. So you don't like that for Seattle as well. Typically can be a little flat spot. I think Chicago got, a couple advantages in this game. One, they're a really good offensive rebounding team, especially with Angel Reese on the floor. They're number 1 in offensive rebounds in the last 5 games, 10 games, and the full season. Seattle allows the 3rd most offensive rebounds, last 5 games, last 10 games, and full season as well. And without Malunga potentially being there, I think Seattle struggles to rebound the ball even more. So we'll see. Ezzy and Nneka are really good rebounders, but I think this guy can hang in this game. I also found a few trends, right? Seattle 1-4 straight up when they're coming off a win as a dog this season. They're 2-3 against the spread in that spot. Only a +3 in point differential. That would bode well for Chicago in this spot. Seattle 3-5 against the spread when they're traveling from when their last game is on the road and they're playing at home. They failed to cover 4 straight in this spot. They're also 0-3 against the spread as double-digit home favorites this season. Just 3-10 against the spread when they face a team that they've already beaten. So they've been very inconsistent throughout the season. And they're 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 tries if they've already beaten the team in their most recent matchup. So this was, we'll see. Ariel Atkins can get going. Angel Reese, Cardoso should have a pretty good, spot in this game. So yeah, that's the only way that I would be able to look in this one. Would be taking the points with the Sky. They just covered for us in their most recent game against the Mercury. I feel like they can kind of do it again, man. That's the only way that I'm looking in this game. And then last game on the board, and maybe the best game, but we absolutely have no idea who's going to play, is the New York Liberty and the Phoenix Mercury. So the slot open, I think, at 1. It's up to 1.5. Total open 166. It's down to 1. Well, open 164. It's up to 166 now. It looks like it's consensus. So a little bit of money coming in on the over. So for the Liberty, I mentioned the injury report. They got Natasha Cloud listed as questionable. They got Jacko Jones listed as questionable. Got Sabrina listed as questionable. Not a great spot for the Liberty. We don't know who's going to play. The Mercury, I think, just double check it real quick. I want to say they have nobody on the injury report. Yeah, they don't have anybody on the injury report. So it's a tough game. From a standings perspective, if the Liberty play everybody in this game, I do think that they will absolutely come to play, because when you look at the standings, the Mercury currently hold a half a game advantage on the Liberty for the last and final home playoff spot. So the Liberty are in 5th, on the outside looking in as far as home court advantage goes in the playoffs, and the Mercury are 4th right now. So that's a significant advantage. This is the 4th matchup of the season. Phoenix did win the first 2, and then the Liberty got their lick back and beat them in the most recent one, which was about a little over a month ago. Beat them by 13 in New York as a 6-point favorite. So Liberty did get their revenge in this game. This is the Liberty team that has struggled on the road. We know that. They're only 3-14-1 against the spread on the road. They've covered just 3 of their last 10 spreads. But if Jacko Jones plays and Sabrina plays and Natasha Cloud puts on a mask to, try to come play with their broken nose, I don't really want to bet against the Liberty. I think that they are better than the Mercury. I know it's going to be difficult for them to win on the road, but maybe if you like the Liberty, you wait, to see if anybody's going to play it. If they don't play, then maybe, you stay away. But if you do like the Liberty, I think I would go money line when the person is, when everybody's rolled in or whoever ends up playing in this game. This is a difficult game to handicap when you don't know 3 starters at that, not going to play, not going to play. Phoenix been in really good form. They're 11-8 against the spread at home. They've won 7 of the last 10 games, 3 in a row, 5 of the last 6. So it's difficult, man. I also look towards the under, but I can't really get involved with, without knowing who's going to play. But I know that the Liberty, I said it's this in their last game against the Washington Mystics, their totals have been inflated. They've played in 3 straight unders. 4 of their last 5 have gone under the total. They're 7-2-1 to the under in their last 10 games, offensively or defensively. One of the things just don't happen. For them specifically. And Phoenix also been playing a lot more defense. You can see that they're 3rd in defensive rating, and they're also playing a lot of unders. They played 4 straight unders, and 7 of their last 10 games have actually stayed under the total as well. And it's more than just that, right? The Liberty are a pretty good 3-point defense team, and that's what the Phoenix Mercury like to do. And then if we look at Phoenix in their last handful of games, they are 5th in defensive rating. Last 10 games, they're 2nd in defensive rating. So yeah, I kind of feel like this could be a spot where the total is going up. It don't mean that I agree with it though. I can't play the game though because I don't know who's gonna play. So let's jump into a quick recap, man. Minnesota, Connecticut. Like I said, I guess I lean a little bit more under, but I may bet that one live. I do like Golden State a lot. We'll see what happens with the injury report. Would love for Tiffany Hayes to be in to help out Veronica Burton a little bit. But Chicago plus 12. I can't lay points with Seattle. That's just not something I'm willing to do with my hard-earned capital. And then Courtney Williams over 5.5 assists is my favorite player prop bet, and I told you guys why. So check them out, man. All the resources, they're linked in the description if you guys are interested. The link to the plays are linked in the description if you're interested. Enjoy your Saturday, man. On the way out, do me a favor, hit the like button, Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Turn the notification bell on so you guys know when I go live. And we'll be back tomorrow to break down Sunday slate, man. Enjoy your Saturday.